Thank you. I did it.
Nobody's going to be here.
Okay.
Well, there's two people.
Okay. Hello.
Okay, hello everybody.
Thank you for waiting.
Yes. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
another Saturday Q&A,
Mm-hmm.
and let's hope everybody's had a good week and are ready for next week. Um, let me check that. Done. Okay. Well, let's just jump right into the questions. We got some good ones today.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear us, by the way? Can you hear us? Nobody's watching.
I can ask Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's fine.
Okay, great.
Okay. First question comes from Sarah. During a conversation, a clairvoyant person told me that he could see a six-pointed star in my chest area, and I was wondering what that could indicate. Does the six-pointed star appear when we feel very relaxed and comfortable? What has to happen internally for it to become visible to people who can see beyond the physical? Um, yeah, it's always there. It's the eye. It's the heavenly man symbol. It's the symbol of the heavenly man, the self-realized human being, and it's waiting for us in the center of the heart center. Dasko said, "This is not an elemental mankind has created, but an actual archetypal symbol that represents this." So, of course, being comfortable, a clairvoyant's going to more likely be able to see it. If you're all disturbed, maybe they're going to see the disturbance and not the star, but the star's always there in everybody. Now, of course, when we do our practices and do the teachings of the researchers of truth, we sort of activate it and kind of bring it alive, make it more activated, I think is the right word. I also have been wondering if humanity becomes better and better over the centuries, or is it up and down until we all reach self realization? That's a good question because clearly man rises and falls. Their civilizations come up and they go down. Not one of them has lasted, forever. So but even in the downside, these things help take us toward the truth anyway, because in the downside, the illusions start to break. There's a lot going on right now, which you could be calling a downside, and our illusions are breaking. But what's coming to our awareness is really what is that of the most value? Is it this pursuing material goods that mankind's always been doing, or is it people? Is it family? Is it truth? Is it God? So we start to readjust our priorities even in the downside. Daskos gave an example of a wealthy person who had lots of money, wealthy, and then things went bad and they had nothing. And he said the point is so that person can learn to value the money properly. Maybe they didn't value it right, they wasted it, or they bought stupid things. So the downside makes them become more aware of what the real value of things are. And so then in that sense, it's everything is an up. Every experience, our worst experiences, we learn so much in our most painful experiences. So we could say, oh yeah, that's a down thing, but really is it? If we become more aware, if we learn the truth, is it really a downside? No, because that's what carries from lifetime to lifetime. It's certainly not the material goods.
Great. Your first question. Yes, originally, at the beginning, we have just heart center. But the more our self-awareness and self-consciousness developed, slowly it goes like a split into the three centers, like going up to the head center and going down to the solar plexus. So we will have three sounds. The more our self-consciousness developed, the more each center, three centers are kind of solid and strong and shine strongly. Then, when head center is full of wisdom, with golden color. And when the solar plexus center becomes full of peace, real power, calmness, sky blue color, then heart center naturally open up with pure whitish pink color with six-pointed star. So, in the ancient, teachings, even the Eastern teachings, six petals of flowers on the heart center, right? Which means six-pointed star. So, with the pure pink light, that star will open up. The petal will open up. So, to make it possible, we have to have the head center full of wisdom and the solar plexus center full of peace and calmness. Then it happens. So probably you are psychic, intuitive, so you are developing this heart center naturally, which means you are more and more stable the other centers. And the second question, yes, I agree with what Daniel said. Even if it seems, kind of tragic, painful event, or seems like going down or going backward, but overall, we human beings have been evolving overall in a long view. It should be so. It's hard to say it's going up or down. We can say it in an easy way. Even if it seems like going down, we are definitely have been evolving in the long run.
Yeah, a lot of times people think they're going up and it's really a downward slide when they don't realize it. You get the feeling that you're winning when you're losing, really. So we have to be aware of that. And the only way to do that is to become awake, more alert, and check what's happening with your true values, what you really, really value in life. None of these desires and normal desires and wants, but what's really important. What's your mission? What you're here for? This question comes from Najabu. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm probably not saying that right, but the question is, what did Joshua Emanuel mean in saying we should be as wise as serpents, but as innocent as doves? Does it just mean our thoughts should be wise, well calculated, and our intentions pure and innocent, or is there more to it? Well, of course, that's it. But he said that when he was sending his disciple healers out into the world to do their work, and he was saying, "Be as wise as serpents," because there's lots of dangers out there in this world, not just physical dangers, but the main danger is illusion. So you have to be very, very wise, and not to be tricked or not to believe something that isn't true. And innocent, of course, we're not supposed to, even though we're wise, we're as a serpent, we're not supposed to bite people like a serpent, We're supposed to be innocent and pure, but keep our awareness always, always keen. And to do that, Daskalo suggested you to create an alert elemental, alertness elemental. What do you call it? Yeah, an elemental of alertness, where it brings your attention back if you start to become subconscious. And that's what happens when we're not alert. We just start to go through life doing things in a subconscious, habitual way. But we have to stay alert because we miss a lot. We miss a whole lot of what's going on. And just like you can, everybody's, oh, I want to be careful not to believe something that's not true. That's one way you can be made a fool or make a mistake. But the other way is more prevalent. And that way is when you don't believe the truth that's presented to you. Now, most people fall for both of these, of course, but watch out for the one where you're being told the truth, but your predispositions, your subconscious way of thinking just blocks it because it's new to that. So you reject it. Watch for that one. Go ahead, Aki.
Okay. Okay. Yes. What you say is true. I think it's true. Yes, but as the deeper meaning, snake, serpent means the wisdom, wisdom of life. And the white dove, dove means peace. So in the deeper meaning, in sorry, deeper meaning, in deeper meaning, it means the wisdom of life force, serpent, kundalini, life force, and also uh, the power, peace, and the power, holy spiritual power and peace. In deeper meaning, it has, sorry, in deeper way, it has a meaning of that.
Next question is, in the esoteric practice, it recommends that one should not send healing balls of light to a recipient who's not asked for it. How do we handle this recommendation when it comes to close family and friends who need our help but would never openly ask for it? Well, that comment really is a specific thing where you're not supposed to interfere in somebody else's illness or accident in a detailed way. Anyone can send a blessing, a prayer for help or protection for the person. But when you use a healing ball and say you send it to a specific organ in a certain color to do a certain thing, and you haven't been asked for it, that's not right. But anyone can send a loving elemental or light to protect somebody. There's nothing wrong with that, whether the person's asked for it or not. In fact, a lot of times the people that would not ask for it would be the ones who need it the most. Now, in our families, it's even a little bit different in the sense that we are karmically tied. These families are really not just family ties, they're karmic ties. So we have karma with our family members. And we never want to override someone else's wishes, of course, never. But we are in each other's families to help each other. So again, sending prayers of healing. I mean, you can send prayers for anybody. What's that? That's a healing ball of light, really, if you do it properly. So we can do that. Just don't interfere in the detailed diseases, because that's based on the law of cause and effect, and it's being worked out in a way you don't understand. So you shouldn't go in and try to fix it because you don't understand really what's happening with it to begin with.
It's okay to send a white ball, white light ball, and also sky blue light ball, and a whitish pink light ball, and a golden light ball, canary yellow, light ball. It's okay and no problem to send a kind of general, basic, healing light to wish somebody's health. A white light ball is perfect because it contains all the colors in it in a balanced way. But in healing, the most important thing, very important thing, is for that person wish to be healed. So, on this sense, we should not touch or interfere the somebody's free will. If only if they wish to be healed, that's the most precious moment, because that's the precious moment for them to be developed. So if they don't wish to be healed, we should not touch or interfere their free will. That's why we don't send specific healing light. Even the family member, we don't do that. But general ones, no problem. Please send everywhere. That's gonna help the environment and the people. But not the specific one, unless we are asked.
Yeah, so when you send the white light to somebody in a ball, the archangels take that white light and use it themselves. They're not in danger of making a mistake, but we are. So we don't want to specifically try to fix something in somebody in that regard.
So for the family member, please send general basic ones, or even fill the light bulb everywhere in the house. That's gonna help.
Kathy asks, in the first labor, the lion of anger is strangled. Now she's talking about the labors of Hercules, the 12 labors of Hercules. which are the preliminary steps on the symbol of life. In fact, this labor of strangling the anger of lying in you is the first labor, the first action to do. But she's asking, how are anger and fear connected? It seems like anxiety, worry, and frustration and fear are behind anger. Seems like awareness is huge here. Fear is the causation of anger. Thank you for these teachings. I hope this makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense because there's only two things you do. I mean, really, there's only two motivations. It's either fear or love. You do things out of fear and you do things out of love, of course. I got my college degree out of fear. I didn't want to go to Vietnam and I went to college. So it was fear that made me get my college degree.
Did you answer her
I'm
question?
still working on it.
Okay.
So, yes, fear is underneath anger. And think about it. When you get angry, why do you get angry? Well, you get angry because of one, you didn't get what you wanted. So there's a fear of not getting what we want. We get angry when that doesn't happen. Or we get something we don't want. That's a fear too. I don't want something I don't want, right? And even if you get the thing, there's a fear of losing it because it's in time and space and everything will pass away. You can have a wonderful marriage, 30, 40 years, 50 years maybe, and then one of you is going to pass away. So even the best things we have, we can't hold on to them long. And there's a fear about that. There's a fear of losing our loved one or losing something valuable to us. Right. So when we do the labor of Hercules, the first one, to strangle the lion, the idea is just to suffocate the lion, that anger in us. That's not suppressing it. It's absolutely cutting off its energy, which means what? Which means we don't express it. We start to feel it rise. We don't give it expression. We don't just let it roar and come out on somebody. We stop it. We don't hold it in because eventually it'll jump back out. But we just choose not to express it. And so to do that, we slowly just cut off any of our anger's expressions in us. And the second part of that labor is to introspect on why people get angry. And it's really just those three things primarily. I mean, it's all related to something, you not getting something you want, or you losing something you think you have, or getting something you don't want. Think about it. Is there any other reason why do you get angry? Well, someone offended me. What's that mean? Well, they thought of you in a way that you did not want them to think about you. Or they wounded me. Oh, I'm so hurt because of the words they said. Well, again, you didn't want to be thought of in that way. So it bruised your egoism, basically. And the lion of anger is the first face of egotism. And we have to take down all 12 of its masks, all 12 of its faces. And that's what the work in the symbol of life is about.
As Daniel explained already, in the Hercules work, the first labor to kill the lion of anger. After visualizing the scenery, we have a second part. We will contemplate the all potential possibilities to create anger, to cause the anger in our personalities. And we list up and we one by one analyze and introspect on that. So it's, we have many reasons to get angry. The teaching says, for example, as he says already, when we are offended, feel being offended, or feel being wounded, or when we are stolen or deprived something very important, precious. When we feel the sense of loss, we feel anger. But when we analyze deeper and deeper and more deeper, the cause of the anger, yes, it is much relating to fear. So it's a good observation. So please, who asked this question, list up, everyone, please list up all the kind of possibilities, potential to create anger in your personality. And when we analyze deeper and deepest, we will find fear in the core. in some cases we might find a different cause, but mostly fear is based on the anger, because when we feel fear, it's kind of contracting power. The power contracting, the contracting power create the fear. But when we feel love, it's more like expanding power. So it's kind of opposite the force, expanding and contracting. So it's really valuable for us to analyze the cause of anger. Yes, fear is the core of anger, we can say that way. And the opposite power is love, expand.
Okay. Osaka asks, please clear up the confusion about the solar plexus area. I heard Aki in a meditation talk about focusing on the area behind your navel, but calling this your solar plexus. I thought the solar plexus was right underneath your sternum. The three sun meditation talks about focusing on the solar plexus, but I'm not sure where that is anymore. Many Qigong exercises say you should focus on the area behind your navel. Which is it? The area behind your navel or right beneath your sternum? That's the first question. So we'll just take that first.
Yeah.
It's right behind your navel. There are some systems that say that it's at your sternum, and it's not that it's not there. It's just the centermost point of it is behind your navel. So it's the same as in the Qigong in that regard. So the center of it is behind your navel, but it's really a great disc on the material body, on the etheric double of the material body, which is about 16 inches, about like the size of a beach ball. So that touches your sternum, but the center point is behind your navel. You want to answer?
So, yes, as he says, our central point of solar plexus in this teaching system is right behind the navel. Right behind the navel, the central point. And the solar plexus center is okay. And what you say, in general, we call solar plexus in general at the bottom of the sternum. Yes. I felt same way at the beginning, long time ago. Isn't it different? But please remember, in this teaching system, the central point of the solar plexus center is right behind the navel. And the solar plexus center is the place where you say the bottom of the sternum and include the genital area and the liver area and the spleen area, whole area. I can show you. I have to stand it. So, whole area and the symbol of life. It's here. And this is right behind the navel, the center number 9. But around here is the bottom of the sternum, which in general call the solar plexus. But we don't call this part as the solar plexus.
Her second question is, I'm reading the Symbol of Life book right now. Where did Daskalos learn Egyptian? There are many Egyptian characters in his book. When Daskalos was 7 years old, he began teaching the circles of the Researchers of Truth to university professors. 30 of them, maybe. They used to meet every Friday at his principal's home, and he would show up there, and they would ask him questions. And sometimes they'd ask him questions in French, and he'd give the answer in French. He would answer in different languages. They would ask him in different languages. He'd answer in that language perfect. They tested him. He could write and understand Latin at 7 years old. Now, these learned college professors were looking at him and saying, where did this 7-year-old boy learn all this stuff? Well, the 7-year-old boy did not learn all this stuff. He brought that through his inner self. It's recorded that the inner self knows all your previous languages, of course, because it spoke them through the personality, or the personality spoke them, so it knows them. So he just brought them through. I would say where he learned Egyptian was about 3,300 years ago in Egypt when he was an Egyptian. I mean, that's the real answer. But as in this lifetime, he's just bringing them through, bringing them back through.
There are teachers and masters living in the state of eternal now. So, for them, it's easy. Their consciousness is easy to get access, and how can I say? Everything is here for them, so they can use the language where they used in past long past lifetime in handy as well. So an Egyptian language, of course, he used to live in in Egypt, so it's easy for him to use it. How can I say? For them, everything is here, so it's it's no problem to use any other than it's not only Egyptian.
This is from Daniela. Yeah, thank you for the vast experiences during the workshop. Yeah, we're sorry you couldn't join us, but I'm glad you could virtually. Is it possible to have the recordings for a longer period, let's say 3 months, so I can go through more times through some points? Is it possible to only have the meditations in audio files so we can practice them? I think I'll leave that question up to you.
No, that's your decision. Everything is decided.
Yeah, Aki's working on putting all our meditations into an audio format, so that will become available soon. And yeah, we can leave them on there longer.
Did you decide so?
Yeah, let's leave them on there a little longer for people who want to do it. I mean, I didn't.
Okay, if you say so.
Okay.
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 He said so it's okay. He decides everything. So about the meditation, so
Yes.
yeah,
Please,
just to tell the
please,
truth.
please,
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. About the meditation, yes, we are planning to publish it as audio meditations. I don't know. I will work hard to make it possible. So could you please wait a little for a while, as Daniel says. And yeah, but we have many good meditations and CDs already published. So please take a look if you like.
Bruce is asking, in Watching the Whale, Daniel states at one point that the Archangel Kamael is linked to the color green, page 66. But later says Kamael is linked to the orange and dissolution, page 243. Could this be clarified? You know, we looked in the book and it's not really mentioned. They aren't mentioned on those pages. So I'm a little confused about that. Unless maybe you're looking at a Kindle book, if that's possible, I don't know. If there's in there anywhere in one of the editions, it's not correct. The Archangel Kamael is definitely his green color, and Ramael is the one of orange, linked to dissolution, dematerialization even. The second question is visualization. Could you describe possible reasons why visualization can be such a hard skill to develop? Is it atrophied? Is it atrophied of some use of the noetic body? Is it?
Maybe, can I? Yeah. Are you proceeding to the next question?
I'm just finishing his question.
Okay.
The development of the noetic body that is needed, or are there some other causes that make this skill difficult to develop? Well, it's primarily what you're saying, it's atrophied. We haven't used it. No one's taught us to use it. In fact, I don't think people in power want us to use it. But it's like if you had your arm tied to your waist all your life, and I say, hey, you got an arm down there, use it. You'd find it really hard to do anything with it because you've never have. So we have to do that. Yet we are doing it subconsciously all the time. But this is about making it conscious. Subconsciously, you can remember maybe your first girlfriend, your mother's face. You can remember lots of things visually, very, very easily. But it's not really a consciously developed skill. So it lies latent in each one of us. No one has more right to use it or can use it better than another. It's up to the individual to practice and develop it, just like using your hands. But it's not the noetic. You can say it's the noetic body, but it's really the noetical body this is the visualizations associated with. So when we're moving kinetic ether, that's really primarily associated with the material body, the movement in the material body. When we feel the ascetic ether, the feeling giving ether, that's part of the psychical body. The noetical ether, they're in all three bodies, but they primarily are in one or the other. So kinetic primarily in the etheric double material body, ascetic primarily in the etheric counterpart of the psychical body, and noetical in the etheric counterpart of the noetical body. But the noetic encompasses them all, so you can say noetic too. It's just really a matter of practice, and it's just how much time you devote to it. It's like you went to the gym to build up, you would have to do it a lot to build strength up. It's the same thing. You just have to practice over and over. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just you can be sitting in a car or waiting for someplace and just look some object in the room or around you and just close your eyes and try to bring it back visually and turn it, dissolve it, bring it back. Just work with it like that. Simple things. You can do it all the time.
You do. Daniel does visualization exercise every morning, even for the small things. I really respect his practicing way. So please start with the kind of simple one and continue that visualization exercise. That's going to help you. That's going to be the mighty power for you. But for your first question, Kamal and Lamal, he already answered. We couldn't find the page which you mentioned, but as a conclusion, Archangel, the Kamal, emerald green color, and the Archangel Ramael is the orange, neon orange color. And we can feel them and covering the autumn leaves right now. And we can feel lots of Kamals in the spring, new leaves and new, grasses are coming out. So please be sensitive to feel them by the color. So this is your first question. And the second question about visualization. Yes, I understand. We receive many people say, "Oh, I can't visualize anything. It's all darkness. I can't see anything." But please don't worry. And I would like to explain why it's so important. We repeatedly say 5 golden keys. Of course, visualization is one of them, right? Observation, concentration, visualization, and introspection, meditation, right? This is our 5 golden keys. And especially observation, concentration, and visualization is so important. It's difficult. Visualize something is very difficult, but please train this ability because God contemplates and creates universes, right? Create everything. God contemplates. But we human beings meditate using those 5 golden keys, using the ability of observation, concentration, and visualization. Ultimately, those are the ability of God. So our personality, are trying to make a bridge to practice the ability of God by the exercise. In a simple way, if I explain in a very simple way, we are doing and practicing to master the ability of God, which is latent in us. So, in this seminar, Symbol of Life seminar, I just gave a very simple visualization exercise, very easy, very fun, and everyone loved it. Can I just give you maybe taking 3 minutes from now? Please close your eyes and visualize your most favorite food. It's lunchtime, so you must be hungry. Please visualize your most favorite food in front of you. And you can see it, smell it, touch it. Even you can hear the sound of the food which you touch. Using all your 5 senses, please experience your most favorite food. But your eyes are closed. And using a kinetic ether, move it. Using your aesthetic ether, feel it. Using your imprinting ether, see it clearly. And please eat it. Can you taste it? Can you smell the food? And enjoy the food. Swallow the food. Okay. Please open your eyes. Wasn't it easy for you to experience your favorite food? Right now, you used kinetic aesthetic imprinting ether. You could experience your most favorite food, but your eyes were closed. You didn't see your 2 eyes. You used higher light and you saw it in different eyes and different eye, and you experienced it. So please start with the simple things to visualize. Then you will slowly be able to handle and control those 3 functions of ether and experience it. Something in the other dimension, closing your eyes.
Okay. This next one's from Mario. Hi, Mario. It's more of a comment than a question. He entitles it Introspection While Encountering a Negative Elemental, Mind Mapping by Drawing. I want to share something. Sometimes if you're dealing with a negative elemental, if you are experiencing at that moment, to write it down using Dasklow's introspection and to mind map the expressed feelings on paper and its connections to thought to try to bring it to reason. Filling a paper with mind-mapped emotions the elemental is expressing. I use the paper and pen, bubble writing the emotion and how it's connected to other emotions, digging deeper and deeper and deeper to find the cause. I found that writing it down and drawing it on paper, I could find a way to put it to rest temporarily. Listening, understanding, and questioning it then making suggestions to bring the emotion to rest and conclusion to the thought, then eventually move on to change the focus of mind. Yeah, it's good to introspect on what causes that and how other elementals are triggered by that and all that. But I would suggest not to give it too much attention by writing and drawing to it. These things are to be cut, not. I mean, Dasclos tried to convert some little demon elementals into something better, but sometimes they didn't seem to work. He had to dissolve them. And one time he told me about. And that was somebody else's elemental, it wasn't his own. But when we have our own elementals, it's a little different matter because we have created them, so they have a right to come back to us like that. There was the best answer I can give to this is what he gave to a German lady one time in class. She said, "Oh, Dasclay, I figured out how to deal with my negative elementals. I tell them, you sit down right here and be still." That's what she told her elemental. And Dasclos just simply said, "Already you're giving it too much attention." Because to kill the power in an elemental, we can't kill the elemental, but we can kill the power in it. We have to withdraw our attention to it. Fighting against it feeds it. Attending to it, just thinking it through, feeds it. So everything's basically feeding it except pulling your attention away from it. Just shift your mind to something else immediately. Don't even let it finish a sentence. Now, in your introspection, it is helpful to see, oh, well, gee, I met this person and this elemental came up. And every time I meet this person, this elemental comes up. That's different. You're examining the cause and effect mechanism here, but don't attend to the elemental itself so much because you just inadvertently feed it.
Yeah. Can I mention on the first one first? Yes. The highlight of what you are doing is by writing down all emotions and its connection, the relationship. By doing so, we can observe, our own emotion and thoughts, kind of detaching our real self from our way of thinking and the way of feeling. So that's going to help a lot. But as Daniel says, not too much attention. But analyzing is very good approach, especially detach yourself from the other side, from the higher perspective, and see what's going on or on elementals. That works.
The second question is about entering a meditative state. Are there any suggestions to help enter a stronger meditative state? Stronger meaning to visualize yourself better, colors, etc. i.e., counting, visualizing numbers drawn by your etheric hand, visualizing colors and sounds. Yes, all that helps. Everything we teach here in terms of the practices is doing that, is helping you enter a stronger meditative state because you're developing the skill of visualization. You also should be developing the skill of mastering the mind. And mastering the mind isn't like strong control. It just make it stop every once in a while. All day long, where it's just busy, busy, busy. Try just stopping it. Try it for a minute. You'll see what elementals are really affecting you because you'll have an elemental come and you'll want to think about that, or it will lead you here. Sometimes you'll maybe even want to jump up and start acting on it. So just try stilling your mind. And you can do it by just a candle flame or just a spot on the wall or any tiny object. Just focus on it. And not with tension, but just let your mind rest on that object and just hold it there without these other thoughts coming to disturb you. That's real mastering the mind. And that's helps in visualization because one of the problems about visualization is we can't hold it steady because our mind's jumping all over the place. So just like right now, close your eyes and bring to your mind your most beloved person or somebody you really know and love very much, and just hold their face steady for 30 seconds. That wasn't 30 seconds, but I think you get the idea. It sometimes becomes unsteady or something else comes and takes its place, and you have to go back to the original face you were focusing on. Until we can stabilize our mind, our visualizations aren't going to be much better. So that practice of just stopping your mind every once in a while, it's so important. And it's definitely one of the keys for out of body experience.
Yes, I would like to mention about the five golden keys again: observation, concentration, visualization, and meditation and introspection. So, especially first three: observation, concentration, the visualization. Please practice this again and again and again to create observation state. Please stop thinking and feeling. Then immediately observation starts. So please practice to control your daily emotion and thoughts on and off, on and off. Then practice to create observation state. This is the first step. And then next key is concentrate at will using your willpower, free will, willpower. You just direct it, okay, I will focus on this. Once you focus on something, never sway around and go around and distracted by anything. Please practice that. And as we already explained, start to visualize the simple things. He already gave you the example, visualize your most loving person. That's fine. Anything is fine. Please create those situations and practice again and again. Then meditation, as your meditation is going to be deeper and deeper and deeper. And we will do the introspection. Introspection is meditate on ourselves, know thyself. So in this way, please practice.
Eric is asking, is there a significance to flying in your dreams? Yes, but you give it the significance. We all have this mythology in our subconsciousness about what everything means because we give meanings to things. Now, for example, if you see a snake in your dream and you're a Christian, you probably think, oh, it's a bad thing. But a Hindu might see a snake and think, oh, it's Kundalini. So it's the meanings we give these metaphorical images or these symbolic images. So obviously, most people flying in dream would represent freedom. Freedom from the heavy things in your life that hold you down. But you have to expand. You have to study your own subconsciousness and realize what meanings do you give to things. So there is a significance, but it's yours. So seek that and find it.
Yeah, I agree with what he said. In general, when we see the dream of flying, it means uplifting, energy or something. But we have to analyze very carefully. Depends on which condition you are flying in your dream, you are experiencing the other dimension. So it depends on the background of how you experience and how you interpret what you experience in the other dimension. So when we have a dream, what we call dream or experience in the other dimension, when we experience what we experience during the day before, in that day, okay, for example, how can I say, when we have a dream and when we wake up and when we remember, introspect all of your dream, and then if your dream was relating to the event or your way of thinking or feeling of you experience during that day, it's pretty much you're experiencing it in your psychoanalytical shell. Mostly it's so. So when you interpret your flying experience, it must be relating your own way of thinking or feeling, or you experienced what you experienced. Mostly it's like that. So we can't say definitely it's within a day, but it might be past, but it's pretty much relating to your experience in the day or recent experience of your dream. So it's very sensitive to analyze what it means. Depends on the condition.
Kate is asking, is there a way to have a conscious death, a better death than what is commonly experienced? At the point of death, if one has one's wits about them, what should one do? Well, obviously, to have a conscious death, you have to become more conscious. That's what people are not conscious. They go to death subconsciously with a lot of fear. So the first thing I would suggest is get rid of the fear about death. I know dying may not be so hot, but death itself is a liberation. Christ said, "He who dies passes from death to life," meaning that what comes next is so much greater than what we consider here as life. So it's a much better life that comes. So just try to abandon all these fears about death. Now the Aztecs called death the gateway to awe. Now, why would Christ, why would the Aztecs talk about something so much greater if it was really such a bad thing? And if God is here, I mean, God has created us, and we all believe that, obviously, or we wouldn't be on this channel. But why would it be something less, something bad? So the way to go through that gateway consciously is just to be alert, to drop your fears and open up. It's called surrender. You just have to surrender to the process and trust that God would not create anything that ends up being, really a bad thing for you. Where you go is going to be just according to your own vibrations. You do that. God doesn't do that. So if you have your wits about it, just try to stay as conscious and don't let fear or attachment, the other one is where most people get it, is attachment to people and places and things they knew. You're going to be surprised what happens on the other side. In terms of those people, you're not going to lose the things you love on the other side. We feel like we've lost the person going to the other side, but they don't feel like they've lost us because they have us with them in their own way. And it's very real to them. It is very real. It's a very real experience. So, start to introspect. It's like the Maha introspection, isn't it? You've gone through your life, you're facing death, you're facing death, and you should go back and look at your life. I would be my suggestion. I've, we're to introspect all the time, but this is toward the end, is the Maha one, where you really want to go back. Did I really get that? Did I really understand that right? What did I think? What did I think? And then 5 years later, what did I think then? And you'll start to realize that you're not this personality that's changing every year of your life. You're the deathless soul. And if you can shift to that, you will be like the ones Christ mentioned. Some of you here will not taste death. Now, obviously, their material bodies died, but it just meant they did not go unconscious in the experience of death. And it's absolutely safe. Death is absolutely safe. You can say that too.
Yes. When we continue this teaching and practice sincerely, diligently, then we can start to live consciously in the observation state in our daily life. And usually, most of the people, when they pass on, they experience kind of sleep and wake up in the other dimension. This is the process of what we call death. But when we continue this teaching and practice sincerely, diligently, then we can keep the point of receiving impressions or understanding, awareness, the viewpoint all the time, even if we are living in this dimension or when we fall asleep. We can continue, can make a bridge between this world and that world. So what we call passing on is like a transiting to the different room of the big house. The condition is going to be like that. So as he says, we don't need to fear anything about passing on to the other dimension. Every night we just pass on, transfer ourselves to the other dimension and come back. But with silver cord, it's connected for sleeping. But the passing on, the silver cord is cut off. This is a difference. But our consciousness, I-ness, as God. So as long as we keep this state in this dimension, then and once we trained and master of keeping this viewpoint, then whatever happened on our bodies, we can observe it wherever we go, which dimension we are. We can see and experience it. But for that purpose, we are training hardly to gain this perspective. And especially introspection is very, very beneficial and helpful right before you fall asleep. When you look back your whole day and view your whole day from the viewpoint of your I-ness, that's going to help you. The introspection has lots of benefit we will gain. So please live consciously using the exercise of introspection.
Jacqueline is asking, during an incarnation, the physical body suffers injuries and ailments, but does the actual soul get inflicted with any injuries? And if so, how are they healed? No, never. It's soul is never bound and forever free. Nothing touches it. Christ said, don't fear those who can kill your body. You cannot touch your soul, meaning nothing touches the soul. Not that it's not reflected in the soul. So think about it like this. Think about the soul as being a perfectly crystal clear mirror. And whatever you put in front of it reflects it, but it doesn't affect the mirror. You can put stinky garbage in front of the mirror and it'll show the stinky garbage, but it won't affect the mirror. And that's sort of what happens here. We have all these ailments and psychological, mental ailments, physical ailments, and they don't touch the soul. They do not. So there's no worry about healing them. So the real problem is those things that happen to the personality. And by personality, I mean your mental body, your emotional body, and your physical body. And those don't come by accident. They seem to come by accident, but they're really coming from the law of cause and effect of things you've did in this lifetime or in previous lifetimes. So it's just the way the law balances out. But nothing ever happens to the soul, except you could say the soul simulates the distilled wisdom of the experiences of the personality. And part of its realization.
Yeah. As he says, a soul never gets injured or harmed or gets sick. But part of the soul, how can I say, the active part of the soul is called the permanent personality. And in the core of the permanent personality, we have a permanent atom. So in this permanent atom, all our experiences are recorded. It's like a book of life. So everything is recorded in this atom. So whatever we experienced, injured or harmed, whatever, it's imprinted in that atom. And based on, according to this record, the next lifetime, our program or our bodies are created. So it's perfectly done. But the soul itself is not harmed or injured, damaged. It's the God, so it's perfect. But in this microchip, it contains everything, and according to the term of healing, then by the program for the next lifetime or next lifetime in the future incarnations, it will be programmed, and we will be given the opportunity to be healed or balanced to create the perfect harmony.
Gustavo is asking, I can't remember correctly on practicing the symbol of life exercises, whether we should build the five-pointed star, archangelic man, plus the pyramid before practicing, or is this just preparation for the labors of Hercules? Yeah, he's talking about the symbol of life practices, the practice for the labor of Hercules. What you want to do is do the archangelic attunement in the four-sided meditation, in the four-sided pyramid meditation, dress in your archangelic form, and then exit the red gate into the domains of the Michaels to start up path 10-8 toward up the 12 labors of Hercules, 12 arcades of Hercules. And we do that because we want to dress and we want to tune with the archangels and dress in our archangelic form, because we're now entering the domains of the archangels. When you go outside that gate, you're in the domains of the Michaels. The Gabriels are on the inside. So they're helping you and working with you. So it's good to dress in that form to show that you're one of them, because human beings are archangels. First, the spirit ray goes through the archangelic form, and some of them stop there, and those are the archangelic orders. And some of them continue on and go through the human idea, and those are the human beings. So we really are archangels when we first started our descent. And we're there now. We're still there now. We're just not connected to it. We're not aware of it. So we have to dress those on the way out. The other exercises in the symbol of life, Aki can speak about. But those particular steps of dressing in the archangelic form and the archangelic attunement meditations should be done before starting on the labors of Hercules.
Okay. In this seminar, in the past seminar, I provided the simplest way how to approach it. We are just approaching to the symbol of life. So please review the process which we practiced in this seminar. This is the best way. So step by step, you please review it. And but when I explain it just quickly, then first etheric breathing. Without please practice etheric breathing. And next, breathe, feel your etheric double, etheric energy field of your material body. And next, visualize, your elemental of your etheric double using a psychonoetical light, and create a psychonoetical light body. And I'm going to tell you very important, make it clean. Oh no,
It's okay.
he's playing with the computer screen. I thought it's disconnected.
Nope, it's okay.
Okay. So back to the subject. Please clean. Keep it clean. Check in the stain where you still have the stains of it. But with etheric breathing, just feel all the stain, clean up all the stains in your etheric double with pure white into pure white color light. And next, please do three suns meditation, three suns cleanse, three main centers every day, always, always, always. And create a five-pointed star, keeping your, the top point always upward, not downward, but upward. Create this protection shield. I explained already the detail, and I would like to skip what I talked in the seminar, but to create the five-pointed star. And also, as Daniel said, create the archangelic form. It shows like a balance of the three divine nature in us and the archangelic nature in us. So it's very helpful. And also four-sided pyramid exercise. I mean the exercise in the four-sided pyramid. We already learned what the symbol of cross means, and it's a balance of our present-day personality. So before we start any work on the symbol of life, we have to cleanse our present-day personality, and also balance the four element and our personality, present-day personality. Then, though all those are the preparation to start the symbol of life exercise. So we practice the symbol of life exercise in the seminar, but what we are explaining now is all the preparation to start it. So symbol of life exercise, the meditation is very advanced, and to start it, we have lots of preparation. Especially, teaching says we need to practice observation and also visualization, and especially teaching says introspection is very important, because the reason is we have to create the elemental consciously, and we have to observe the elemental which we create very well, and we have to observe and control how this elemental is going to be. We need to gain this kind of ability. So to start the symbol of life exercise, we really need to prepare very well. And what kind of exercise? If I'm asked, all kind of exercises which we have been practicing in the book or series, whatever, and make yourself get ready to approach to create a symbol. We did it in the seminar, right? And place it in our body. And after placing in our body, we finally started from the center number 10, getting out of the four-sided pyramid, and start to work on the first labor of Hercules. If I explain very simply, with limited time in here now, it's like this. So it's very profound, long path, but it's very meaningful. And we explained already in the seminar, so please review the video.
Okay. Joe is asking, are the three different ethers direct ways for us to interact with the natures of absolute beingness? By three different ethers, I presume he means the kinetic, the aesthetic, and the imprintive. I would say not direct ways to interact with the nature of absolute beingness, but it is a necessary start toward that, because the three natures of absolute beingness are what? Love, wisdom, and power. Wisdom of the Father, love of the Son, and power of the Holy Spirit, the Almightiness. Those are the three natures of God. Those are the three natures of life. Those are the three natures of the absolute selfhood. So that's very, very high stuff. And we need to start practicing with the ethers just to learn how to interact with the ethers. And what are the ethers? The ethers are not God. They are an emanation from God, which means that they are holy. See, the emanation from God is the mind. And so the ethers are a certain frequency of the mind. So we can say in that sense, since it's come from God, the ethers, it's holy, but it's not God. So we can't call it divine. So Daskos usually say it's holy in its expression, but divine at its source. But the mind or the ethers or the substance, psychical substance, noetical substance, material substance, are not God. They are an emanation from God to be used in creation.
First of all, it's not like a three different ethers. You say three different ethers, and actually one ether, etheric vitality, one etheric vitality in many levels. But three different functions. Maybe you wanted to say three different functions in one ether, one etheric vitality. So once we train kinetic ether, aesthetic ether, imprinting ether, those three functions of ether in whole, once we can control those three at our will, then the fourth one will come forward, which is creative ether. The creative ether is life force. It's not life itself, but the life force. So, in that way, we are going to practice and learn how to handle life force. Maybe I should speak a little bit more. He's coming back soon. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay. Laura is asking, you spoke about lofty beings incarnating on Earth, but by way of an elementary, so they would not incur damage to themselves. At the end of the last, well, first of all, let me just clarify that. I didn't say incarnating. They're not incarnating, they're visiting. And I was referring to the extraterrestrials, but it's true of archangels too. And masters, they create an elementary of themselves. They can create multiple ones. They're identical to each other. Once you reach self-realization, a master can create many versions of themselves, shake hands with people. Daskalos was going and creating them and going on to battlefields and physically dressing wounds of people who were wounded in battle with some of his. But at any rate, it's not that these extraterrestrials are incarnating on Earth. They're visiting here and they create these elementaries which they can project out and experience the environment. Okay. At the end of the last Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, Luke confronts his enemy in this way, non-violently, by projecting an elemental of himself, but afterwards he dies, presumably because it took too much energy out of him. Is there some truth in that image, or would it not happen that way? No, it would be the opposite. It doesn't work that way. The real being is fine. He's fine. You could kill all the elementaries, and they could make them do tremendous feats, but it would not kill him. Because our nature, as a self-realized being, our nature of God is multiplicity, right? There's all these beings in absolute beingness. That's the multiplicity. Well, we have the ability to create multiple, as self-realization, create multiple versions of ourselves. It's really done by the soul, not by the personality, of course. So yeah, it wouldn't happen like that. That's just the movie.
Yes. Self-realized beings can create elementaries and materialize those elementaries in this dimension. And once the mission is over, it seems like it's dead or harmed, but they purposely leave their dead body or whatever. If the body is injured, everything is at will. So it's not like they are killed or no. How can I say? It is under their perfect control, and the term of appearing in this dimension is already designed. And once their mission's over, they just go back, leaving the body or disappearing. It's all at will of them. Self-realized being can do whatever they wish and materialize at will. Please remember this point. So back to the Luke Skywalker's the body. It's not like exhausted or taking energy and died. It's not like that, as he says. It doesn't happen like that.
Osaka asked another question. How is it that our guardian angel knows how to give us guidance if it's never undergone a human experience? Where does its knowledge come from? Or does it only know about spiritual things, can only give us advice on such matters? No, it can give very, very practical advice. And how does it know? Well, it's coming from one of the highest orders of archangels, which is the Metathronians. Now, at that, they know everything. They're one with God. They know everything. So when it comes to our human experience, at the moment, our first descent, the guardian angel unifies with us. That's what's called an ego-fies, but it just means unified at every level, soul, personality. And it's been with you since your first incarnation as a cave person to now. And so it's known every one of your, and remembers every one of your thoughts, your feelings, your fears, your hopes, your dreams, your experiences. It knows it all. So there's no one better than a being that's still attached to God and attached to you. That's the value of the guardian angel. It's attached to both ends of the stick, right? And it knows exactly what to tell you. And earthly masters, even a self-realized earthly master, could miss something, or something. But these guys can't make a mistake. So that's why Daskalos was always, always saying, you don't need a master. You need to cultivate your connection with your own guardian angel, because there can be no better master for you. But you have to learn it. It's talking to you all the time, but you're not attending. You're not paying that much attention, so you don't really notice it very much. And you think you're talking to yourself because it sounds like you talking to yourself, except it's saying things that maybe you wouldn't normally think or say. That's a good way to detect it. If it says something like, I didn't know that, or I didn't think of that, or it asks a question, what about that? Its guidance is so subtle because it's one with you. It doesn't feel different from you, and it doesn't feel different from God. So this is its real value to us.
He mentioned the word ego-fied. Please imagine like two candles getting together. The flame, once it merges, it becomes one flame, right? Ego-fied is something like that. And our guardian angel, as he explained, through all descendants, they are with us. Each one of us has each one of the guardian angel, which is very similar to us. Ego-fied. It's almost us, but they are the angel, right? Then and also the guardian angel hold our perfect version of our psychonautical bodies, the perfect version, so completed version, the perfect one. But our incarnation is we are just reshaping our amorphous, psychonautical body, right? We have two versions of our bodies, which is on the development, and also perfect version. And the guardian angel is holding it always and silently watching over us all the time, 24/7. So whatever we experience, of course, the guardian angel knows everything. But silently, or sometimes, no, it's not like always subtle. Sometimes if it's really dangerous, then just give us the perfect time, in the perfect time, perfect, strong advice to protect us and guide us. Sometimes we feel like kind of pain, kind of, how can I say, sting of consciousness, conscience, sting of conscience. So depends on the condition, they change the approach, but mostly they just approach to show the perfect idea, the condition, how we should express in a calm way, in a sweet way. They know everything.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, please talk with your guardian angel. It's so beautiful. It's all inner work. It's not a competition. It's not like an amount of how much we study. It's just just love and open your heart to our perfect guides and teachers.
I'm going to tell you a guardian angel story about Aki
Recent one.
recently.
It was very practical
Very practical, very, very important on a practical level.
between us.
We had like almost a tornado. It was a real bad storm came, and I was outside, and it knocked down 7 or 8 big trees. It was just a really vicious storm. And Aki went to the front door to think about telling me to come in. And
Yeah.
she opened the door and heard, step back.
Yeah. I was from Japan, so I've never experienced a tornado, very closely. It was my first experience to experience a tornado, and I saw clearly the tree, big tree. We have huge trees in here, all trees with like a bent the 90-degree, and Danny was outside and working hard chopping the wood. So I felt myself, I really need him to back in the house, and I opened the main gate and tried to rush into him. Then immediately I hear the voice, back off. Then I went like, my heart was, he was, hanging around outside in that condition. But I jumped out to the yard, but my voice said, back off, strongly, very intensely. And then I jumped up like this. And
Big, massive tree fell exactly where she was about to step.
it was like a 30 centimeter, one foot ahead of me. So
Yeah, he gives very practical advice. Yeah.
my personality was against they were about to have the danger, but he protected me like this.
Okay, everybody. Good to see you almost. Next time, we'll be back next month with another
Yes.
round. Yep.
Thank you for joining us.
Peace.
Have a peaceful life.
Be strong in the days ahead.
Yes.